Hi, my name is Marie Ross. I'm here today talking about Buffet Clarinets. I've got 4 of the Buffet Clarinets here at KBB Music in Epsom. These are all professional clarinets. These are actually lined up in chronological order of how they've been invented and designed by Buffet. The first one I'm talking about is a classic, it's a standard, the favorite R13. And this is their first real professional clarinet here from modern times. This is actually, it's quite an old design from the 60s. And it's just a great clarinet. It's a great standard clarinet. Yeah, it's not got any of the bells and whistles, so no extra keys. But as I say, it's got that great buffet sound. So. It's a fantastic clarinet. What I love about the R13 is that it's got that buffet tone, the ping in the sound. It's a nice level of bright and response, and it's got that really identifiable, just beautiful buffet sound to it. It's a really nice clarinet. It's got the new Buffet logo on it. It's the standard. I think everything, we always come back to the R13. We compare everything back to this model of clarinet. Now the next one, and these first two, are really my own personal favorites. I love this one. This is the one I play myself. It's the R13 Prestige. And the Prestige, in comparison to just the regular R13, it has the E-flat key here on the left-hand side. So that can come in handy when you've got tricky passages that are swapping pinkies all the time. A passage I taught today in the Brahms sonata, where it's going into quite a lot of flats. So we've got E-flats on both sides, and in that passage you have to slide if you don't have the key. But when you have the key, you don't have to slide. Now there's not too many differences in the rest of the body of the clarinet between the R13 and the R13 Prestige. But I always find that the R13 Prestiges, I'm not sure if the quality of the wood is generally tends to be just a little bit better, but it always tends to seal a little bit more, it tends to project a little bit more. You tend to get a little bit of a warmer sound. It's also, the plating on the keys is different. So that the silver will supposed to wear down not as frequently as on the regular R13. It's a really nice sounding instrument. What I love about the R13 and the R13 Prestige is the flexibility that you can get with sound colors, with tones, with dynamics. Now these are clarinets that really let you drive them. They're not too dark, not too bright. It's really, I think, that almost like a blank canvas. So the R13 and the R13 Prestige, they really allow me to develop the sound that I want to, the sound that's in my mind. The clarinet doesn't impose a sound on me. And it lets me to make the shapes that I want with individual notes. I can really achieve a great flexibility of tone, color, and of dynamic. So I can get very loud and very soft on the same note very quickly and easily. So it really allows for the player to do what they want to. Now, of course, you pay for that a little bit, and what you pay for that with skill. You have to have a lot of skill to be able to play these clarinets in a way that's consistent and that sounds good consistently. And you have to do a lot of practice. Now, that's not a clarinet that's going to necessarily fix all of your problems out of the box. Like some of the later ones do more of that, and they offer a little bit more security. These ones offer less security, but when you have the skill, it does allow you to do quite a lot that you want to do with it. So you can create a lot of colors. So it's really just a nice, versatile, very expressive instrument. And that's what I love about it, is just the flexibility and the tone colors and the way that you can shape the tones with it, shape individual notes. Now, if we move to the Tosca is a later model. Now, this is Buffet's done a great job really responding to the market and responding to what players want. What's really interesting is that when I was younger, we had the choice of R13, R13 Prestige, and most every player was playing those. They had a few competitors, but it was really those were the primary clarinets that were being played professionally. And now there have been lots of makers that have started to experiment with the evolution of the clarinet. And Buffet has also played a major role in experimenting with the evolution of the clarinet and what's going to come next for clarinet sounds. Buffet has really started that off with the Tosca model. This offers a very warm, dark, rich sound, and it plays fantastic. And it also it is a bit flexible. It has a little bit less flexibility than the R13 Prestige and the R13 series. But yeah, you do gain that big, warm, dark sound, rich sound. Too big to control, so you can control the sound of it. You can play French music still on it. So we get all of these solo pieces. They can still sound great on it, even though it really suits it's closer to the big German sound that I think about if we think about how the clarinet evolved into the big, rich, dark German sound and the bright French sound. So for music of Brahms, it's fantastic. Oh, I forgot. I'm playing on the A clarinet. So I suppose we should play Mozart on it. Make it do what we want to do musically, but we do get a bit of that rich, really warm sound with that. And that's the Tosca. It's this particular one happens to be very, very good. So somebody's going to get lucky when they get this one. It does have this bottom key, so it's got again the side E flat that the Prestige has, and it also has on the bottom. This is the F correction key. So the F correction key is all clarinets have this problem of the low F being flat. And it actually just opens, you'll see on the very bottom here, this little hole here, and that raises the pitch of the F. So if you have to sit on a low F and you're in orchestra or you're playing a solo piece and you really don't want to be about 50 cents low, you can reach down here and use this F instead of the normal F, and it will raise your pitch. So that is quite a useful addition. And it's just fantastic because it's right down here. It doesn't add weight to the instrument, really. And it's very convenient because you don't have to, you just have it right down there under the normal F. So if we play our F scale. Nice in tune F. So again, you don't have to play push this key if you're going in fast virtuosic passages, but when you need to hang out on the note for a while, it's very useful. Now the next one, the fourth one I have here today, is the BC21, which is such an interesting clarinet. Now you can see right off the bat, if we hold them up and compare, there's a lot of differences with the BC21. For instance, we don't have metal rings. And actually this one does not have the metal bell ring. Now the R13 and the R13 Prestige have the metal ring around the bell. If you ask Buffet what is the purpose of having the metal ring around the bell, they will tell you it's just tradition. So it's just for something because it was always put on, and that evolved from the classical period, having a ring around the bell. And it just evolved like that, and they just kept putting rings on. Now, if you take the ring off, and if you have a little tiny handsaw, you can do that on your Prestige like I did. It gives you a little bit more resonance throughout because you don't have that piece of metal sort of stifling the resonance of the instrument. But they've gone ahead and they've taken all the metal rings off. So we've got here completely black body without these metal rings. And we've got, again, a few extra keys, even than what they had on the Tosca. What you'll notice too is that here on the third hole on the top joint, there is no. It is a raised tone hole chimney, which is an interesting development. It feels a little bit different than the other clarinets, but it's very easy to get used to. This sounds a little bit brighter to me than the Tosca, which is interesting. It's bright, it's responsive. You might have, if you're a clarinet recent history junkie, you'll know the BC20 came out in the 70s. This is the 21, so it's carrying on from that clarinet. And we've got here. This is, I was thinking, was this the key on the Tosca? No, we've got here the low E flat key. So this is indeed a low E flat key. So we've got one key lower than actually what we think of as the normal range of the clarinet. It starts at the low E. And we've got one key here, which can play the low E flat. Now, you might be tempted to think, oh wow, I can play low E flat, that means I don't need an A clarinet because I can play all the notes I've heard. Yes, you still have to buy an A clarinet. You'll want an A clarinet because, first of all, you know, the transposition between B flat and A, you definitely need the A. It'll put you in the key that you were intended to play in. And the A clarinet has a very, very different sound than the B flat, a different tone. Again, and this also came from the classical period. The C clarinet, bright, militaristic character. B flat is very middle, so it can do everything really. That's why we play a lot of B flat. The A clarinet is lush, dark, lyrical sounding, but you do want your own A clarinet. The point really of this was not to get down to the E flat, which of course isn't really written for the clarinet. It might start to be, but it's so that you can play B flat, this middle B flat, which is very famously stuffy, and you've got, very famously, there's a big shift in tone from the B flat here, our throat B flat, to the clarion C. And instead of going over that break, this E flat key makes it, in the second register, it makes it possible for us to play B flat here as a clarion note. So instead of, if I was going to start the Debussy Rhapsody, which famously, infamously, you might think, goes from the throat G to B flat to the clarion C. It's something that we try for some of us many years to get very smooth. Now here you've got a really cool option to play B flat here in the clarion register. So instead of that flat, where you go from the throat B flat to the C, you can play it here with the B flat, E flat key. And like that, the tones match much closer. It's a much closer tone. In tone, they're matching much closer, and so it's really a nice tool to have in your toolkit of when you want to pull it out, when you really want to match the B flat and notes above it, especially. So because usually clarinetists know if we hear a recording, we can hear, oh, he's playing the B flat now in the throat range, now he's playing the clarinet range. With this, you can really match those notes a lot closer. And it's a brilliant sounding clarinet.